When we talk about the concept of big is about pressuring forward, essentially just pressuring forward. So in daily life, when you talk about big, it's like if you're on the subway or you're on a bus, you could say, 啲人好逼, it's very crowded. You can crowd somebody. So crowding in is like pressuring in. Well, why is that important? Well, it's because when we do techniques, if Michael throws a punch at me, and I say, okay, I want to do a pak so, and I pak so, and I punch him. It's a good technique, you do it 100 times. But how does it work in real life? Because in real life, if we're really attacking each other, and he punches in, that's big. He's crowding me, right? As the attacker, as an aggressor, the natural tendency is to big and pressure in. But we actually make this a full concept and part of all training in Wing Chun, especially in Chi Sao and Lap Sao. It might seem like an overcomplication when we talk about big so much, because this is just forward pressure and it seems sort of obvious, but really it's not. Because if you ask somebody to push on something, a lot of times they're just going to lean into it, or they might charge into it. If that thing were to just suddenly move, they would topple over. But when you talk about big is a forward pressure where you keep your stability. I want to keep my horse, we train your horse, and you want to provide power from Yu Ma Zhang. That's Ma is the horse, Yu is the waist, Zhang is the elbow. So if I'm pushing forward on something, this is big. I'm learning to use short bridge power. Now, when you start doing single hand sticking hands, you don't want to provide any pressure. You just want to learn the hands. Once you've coordinated your hands with single hand, you move on to two hands, and then you could start using this forward crowding pressure. The other importance of that is that when you have this sort of static stability, where you're not going anywhere, you want to move on to a kinetic stability, where you're actually, when we do long bridge techniques, you close the gap. When you close the gap, you don't just lunge into it. You want to rush forward, but in unison. When your whole horse is stable and you can provide that forward pressure. Now, long bridge technique is Yu Ma Bok. That's a different animal. That's closing the gap. But once you've closed the gap and you've come in, then you want to seal the gap. And that's where Bik Lik and your Chi Sao hands come in most important.